speaking of directors, I have a fabulous one that's been a director for, oh, goodness gracious, 8 years? 8 years. She's been a director of a WOAMTEC chapter for 8 years. The second director or the third director?
Well, I had 3 chapters.
No, but did you start first or did C start first? Because you started first. Okay,
yes.
So the second director, I remember when she came to us at the Heathrow Country, or not at Heathrow Country Club, at the time we were at Louis Gino's. She came to us at Louis Gino's, the Heathrow chapter, and she said, Kathleen, I want to start a chapter. And she did. And 8 years later, we have the fabulous Toni Curlin. So
Thank you. Thank you. Hello.
Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about who you are and what you do, how many plates you spin?
Very many, and I'm just so happy to be here. I can't believe everyone said, you haven't been on WOAMTEC Live yet? I'm like, no, isn't that terrible? Because this is awesome. Kathleen is amazing. But I'm the director of catering for Heathrow Country Club and Legacy Club, and I've been blessed to be doing weddings and events for 30 years. I mean, it is just, it's my heart. I love it. Besides all the other hats I wear and my director hat too, it's just something that I love, and I'm a full wedding and event planner. So.
And I know personally I've worked with you for many, many, many years. I think I've known you, I think over 20 years. We won't talk about that. We won't talk about that. A very long time. But I know that you do more than just book people's weddings and do catering at the club. You really do help them in a myriad of ways, which is why I wanted to have you on the segment today. Because I think it's really important that you, if you're planning events, that you understand that it's not just about hiring a venue or selecting a venue, it's who you're going to be working with. Right. And I know because I work with hotels all the time, and I also host our meetings at Heathrow Country Club. Right. Shout out to Heathrow. Thank you, everybody. You do such a fantastic job with WOAMTEC Heathrow. I know that there's a huge difference between working with hotels and working with country clubs. So if you are watching and you're thinking about planning a holiday event, you're trying to book a conference, you're trying to book a seminar, you want to do a national convention, or you want to do a major corporate event, whatever it may be, I want you to take into consideration the importance of the difference between the two, and also some tips that you might want to consider that you might not be aware of if you're not used to doing this all the time. So, Toni, tell everybody a little bit about what you have found is the difference between booking at a country club, and I'll add my 2 cents in because I don't work for either, at a country club versus a hotel. What are things that they may need to take into consideration?
Yeah, I mean, there's just such a huge difference. Again, my career of 30 years has been only private clubs, and I've been offered many jobs at huge, huge corporate hotels, and I just feel like the personalization that we give, the hands-on helping, the vendors that we help you with, and Brian being one of them, is so key. There's just a lot of work behind events, whether it's just a small lunch or a wedding, which is what we do mostly is weddings. There are just so many people that can steer you in the wrong direction. And if you're not working with professionals and you have the wrong person, it's a make or break your day completely.
I think I hear you absolutely, and I agree with you 100%. And one of the things that I've discovered is, when you're working with a hotel, and I love our hotels, the hotels that I work with, thank you for doing such a great job for everything that you do. But when I'm working with a hotel, first of all, the turnover of the salesperson is quite frequent. So I could be hiring one person or working with one person, and all of a sudden my file gets tossed to somebody else, and I got to make sure I remember everything the first person I communicated and it's correct.
Absolutely.
But then the day of I'm working with somebody different, and then 3 days before I'm working with somebody different. So how is it different between bigger venues and more intimate venues?
Well, I mean, for instance, and I love working with the hotels too out there. I mean, there's usually like 6 to 8 sales directors, and so they have different segments, and then the file is then turned over to, say, a catering director, then it's turned over to a banquet captain, then it's turned over to a manager. I mean, you truly don't get the personal planning that we provide at a private country club, and I do find that that's pretty nationwide. I just got back from a huge conference at the Breakers in West Palm, so I'm still a little spoiled on everything that was going on down there. But it was for club catering professionals all over the United States. And there were 160 of us there, and we all mirrored the same thing about our passion. Not only at a club is it more family, like WOAMTEC. You plan the wedding, I do the baby shower, I do the anniversary, I do the birthday. It's such a family-oriented, and we pass that on to our clients. They become our family on a continued basis. We keep in touch with them. We have signature things that we do. We send them 1-year anniversary emails. We send them birthday anniversary, everything. And we just keep in touch with them. Whether it's, at a hotel, I feel like it's an event that happens and it's gone. Right. The people don't come back. And we're a big community. That's what I call it.
I think that's awesome. And the Breakers is phenomenal.
It is.
That's
It
an
was
amazing
great.
hotel. That's the first hotel, I got to tell you, it's the best hotel.
It was
they have
awesome.
the restaurant, like being a new mom, my husband and I went down there. We had an event down there, and being a new mom, it was the coolest thing. I could actually check my kids in and eat dinner. Like check my kids in someplace else and eat dinner without kids. Now, if you're a new mom that's out there and is watching, that's like priceless. That's worth the hour and a half of freedom.
And we do kids clubs.
See?
There's not many country clubs that have a kids club. We take kids clubs, get them babysitters. I provide a babysitter at the hotel if they want to do pizza parties. I mean, we do it all. So I'm a full service planner for all of our events. So, and you know, and again, the Breakers was awesome, so I'm taking some of that and trying to bring it to the club.
That's what I want to talk about, is I want to talk about some of the things that you learned through this convention recently. What are the hot trends or tips, or what are some things, if we're out there and we're thinking, I want to plan an event, what are some of the things that we should be considering?
Oh, there were some awesome trends. Everything is live right now. You want action stations. I mean, there were carving fruit stations. Instead of going and getting a fruit display, they were actually carving it in front of you. Soup stations with different toppings, oatmeal bars. Everything is small right now. People aren't eating big pieces. Everything was bite-sized. All the little juice glasses, and they didn't just do orange juice and grapefruit. I mean, there was mango and pomegranate and white grapefruit, and I mean, just trends of getting out of that box of, oh, here's a continental breakfast. There's some muffins, some fruit, orange juice, and coffee. It was hot chocolate bars. It was, you know, family-style services big too. But everything is tiny now, and it's just more fun, interactive. Wait staff walking around with boxes with food in them and being interactive, and that's really important when it comes to our staff because, again, we're like a family, so I like to pass on things for them to do as well so that they're interactive with the members and the guests, and they can engage with them and explain to them why it's important to use a private club and also come back. We do more than weddings. You know, we too won a nice Wedding Wire Award, Bride's Choice in the United States in the top 10. So, you know, we're very, very hands-on with our clients, and so is the staff.
I think that's important, and you know, I think the interactive stations is really, really cool because it's providing another form of entertainment. It's making it unique, and I love the smaller portions because the smaller portions are allowing you to try more without, you know, overindulging on a huge piece of whatever the cake may be or whatever. So I think that's creative. It's unique. It's different. Now, you said to me something once about why my sister-in-law shouldn't plan a beach wedding. They were considering a beach wedding. What is the difference between a beach event and an outside wedding of some sort?
You know, and I have nothing against the beach. For those of you that are at the beach, live at the beach, it's just the weather elements are so unguaranteed, and just the sand. There's wind. There's no backup, you know, and it's your one day. Even pool parties are tough. We know, we planned a WOAMTEC pool party. It never rained, but you know, outside weddings are very difficult. They sound so enticing, but use that for your honeymoon. Don't do a wedding at the beach. I hope no one's planning one right now. I'm sorry.
Well, let me tell you, the reason why I brought that up, because that's stuck in my head all the time. And one of the things that I can tell you is I was at the beach not too long ago, and I was outside running, and it was early in the morning, and they had set up, and they had this big gazebo, and they had all of these chairs. There were a bunch of halfly naked people surrounding the ceremony site, and I was like, oh dear Lord, how is the photographer going to get any shot that could even be remotely decent? Because like all around where they were at, it was a public property. There's no blocking it off. Like it's people can prop wherever they want to prop.
Exactly, and that's another nice thing about a club. Now you brought that up. We're not in a hotel where there's people walking by your ceremony area or your cocktail room on their way to the pool with, you know, half clothed or, you know, walking into your room by mistake. A private club, you're going to have a lot more, you know, intimacy as far as, you know, we seat 200 people, but there's not going to be anybody else in your room, in your cocktail room, in your restrooms either. It's all private, so you can do what you want, and it's your property.
I think that that's important, and I think that that's really a vital element to like actually bring in, because you don't want people photobombing, you know, your wedding pictures or your corporate pictures for that matter. If these images, if these photos are going to be what you're going to build your brand on and what you're going to promote to your employees to increase morale or promote to the community to increase public relations, you don't want to bring in other elements that you're not in control of. It's really important to make it look fun, to make it look natural, to make it go off without a problem and easy, flawless. But it's also really important to take into consideration that you need to make it look effortlessly, but make sure you take care of every single detail and you're in control of what's happening that night.
Absolutely, and we're very detail oriented. I mean, I'm from the beginning to the end. I'll walk in a room and the first thing I do, obviously, I always look down, then I look up and I look around, because you know, a lot of people in the industry, they get tunnel vision, and you really, it's eye for detail, you know, and that's another thing that bringing in vendors, you know, they have to be professional. There's, you know, what sticks in my mind is always the bride or the planner that wants to do their own centerpieces, and they want to do them the day of the day of their wedding, or mom's doing them and she's in the wedding. And again, hire the right people. Know what you know, not what you don't. It's, you know, hire professional people, and that's where I steer them. I even help brides and companies that may not be planning things with me, and I'll say, you know what, it's okay, I get it. Maybe my venue's just not for you, call me. If you have any questions on contracts, if you have any questions on pricing. You know, I've been, you know, around 30 years, and I've been in Central Florida a long time, and in Heathrow since '97. So I can help you. Even though you may not be planning with me, I give my services for free, because I think in the end, it's how the day went. And at the end, was everybody happy? And then that really comes down the pipe. People go, well, she helped me, even though, you know, it wasn't at Heathrow or Legacy Club. So that's kind of key too, is vendors.
Is absolutely hiring the right vendors, and just because you can doesn't mean you should. I say that 1,000 times, if not more. I think it's really important to take into consideration that you want to delegate as much as you can if the day is really important. You know, I plan events for a living. That's what I do. That's all we do all day long. And just recently, you know, I helped my brother coordinate his wedding.
Absolutely.
Somewhat of a mistake, because there were 5 of us in our family, 5 of us in the
I
bridal
tried to
party.
tell her not to do that.
But the one thing I delegated was the linens. I purchased the linens. All my mother had to do was steam them and put them on the table. That's it, the one task. When she went to do it, she said, oh, I got to go take a shower. And she left. The mother of the groom left and totally dissed the one task she had. Thank God, another shout out to Tanya Roller for being there to save the day to steam the linens. But, you know, that just showed me that how much would it have cost, really, to just rent them and have somebody else deal with that. And I think that when you're looking at things, you really need to analyze that. Yes. Going back to the hotel, and I'm not throwing hotels under the bus, but I also know that often they can change your location.
Correct.
And in the contracts, you want to make sure that you're reading the contract very carefully, because if they're changing your location, we had a conference recently, and it was like, what are we going to do, and how are we going to shift gears, and how are we going to make this work? But they got a pharmacy company to come in and spend more money on a convention, and it was like, okay, we're bumped, we're out. Yeah. And, you know, fine detail, and I've been doing events at this location for years. So that, you know, you would have thought there was loyalty, but the bottom line is with all of us, when it comes to the dollar, when it comes to the bottom line, when it comes to making money, you make a decision for your business, and it's not personal. You know, with some place that's not as corporate, they may make more decisions with their heart, because they may know it's personal, because that's what keeps their business year after year, which is important. So give us some pointers. If somebody is in the process right now of planning a holiday event, what would be some of the suggestions that you would give to them to make it unique or make it different?
Well, another big trend is not doing a traditional holiday party. I'm working with 3 corporate clients, and 2 of them are doing a luau theme. The other one's doing for the holiday party. Correct. Wow. And the other one wants to do a country costume, I mean line dancing and everything theme, with red and white, you know, checkered linens, and everyone dress up country. And so you don't have to do like the traditional Christmas party. You know, you can still have the Christmas tree, you know, for the gift exchange, but go outside the box. I mean, do a swing night, or just do something fun.
Swing dancing.
Yes.
Swing dancing. Yes. just there's this disclaimer there. We're not on that kind of mission, Toni Curlin. Oh, too fun. Tanya said to have fun today, so that's what we're doing.
And you knew I was going to be here, so like that's not going to happen. So.
No, I love it, love it, love it, love it. Mix it up, make it different. You know, even at our very own wedding, Jeff and I made it unique. We made it different. I came down the aisle too. Yes, that's right. That's right. You were. Oh my goodness. Oh, it has been a long time.
Yes.
I came down the aisle too. It had to be you. We had poker tables. Not that I endorse gambling, but for the guys that didn't want to dance, and we gave away prizes to the winners, and just made it as unique as possible, because we wanted people to remember it. We didn't want it to be just another wedding, and people still to this day talk about, you know, I played poker at your wedding. How random is that? You know.
Right.
And Don Gilmore was actually the one there doing it.
I was just going to say, create something signature about yourself. I mean, something that you know passes on. I call it Tony's Tidbits on Fridays. I do emails, and this can work for anybody, not just me, but you're giving tidbits about your company or just some trends. Like I'll do a drink of the week, or I'm going to start now with holiday appetizers, and creating just, you know, some fun things. I just started my Brookies, which is a brownie cookie, and, you know, and delivering them to our clients. Again, a lot of people can use a lot of things that I do, and I would be happy to email out my tidbits. But, you know, to keep yourself out in front of your clients, to also get new clients, to keep your, you know, streamline going. So we have, you know, a few signature things. We deliver our famous cheese tort, and people love that. Again, I'm just not a chocolate chip cookie girl because I get a lot from the hotel, so I refuse to deliver chocolate chip cookies.
Do you know though? But to give a shout out, just give a shout out. We just got here at WOAMTEC Corporate. The DoubleTree just brought us a bag full of their chocolate chip cookies.
And see, that's what hotels.
And the next day, in my kids' lunches, I took each one of the chocolate chips. And my daughter Michelle, she was like, oh, "You went to the DoubleTree? When did you stay at the DoubleTree?" And I was like, "No, they brought them to me," and it totally impressed her that the DoubleTree's bringing me cookies.
Right.
But that's where we're going to be booking the Youth Summit at. So I mean, just that little gesture. Everybody wears a sign that says "Make me feel special." They want you to know that you care about them when you're not calling them, asking them how much their services cost, or when you're calling them saying, "Are you available this day?" So, now, what do you have in front of you here?
Well, you know, I always like to do something at the end of the weddings or a big event, and you know I'm all about bling, I think, for those of you that know me. And I like to create something, and you know, as you are to me, I give them, and you are a gem to me. And it's a little gem, bottle opener, and then, so that's for the bride and groom, and I give them a card. And then I have this real pretty paperweight. You are a gem to me, Kathleen. So, you know, creating something that, you know, just you give people to, and I'm not saying that you have to do it with everybody, but something signature about yourself, and everyone knows I'm Toni Bling, so I kind of use that for my work too. But creating something that people will remember about you that's kind of special and different. You know, create your own brand, and I'm into branding. That was another thing big that's right now is rebranding. Step back and really, what is your brand? Does everyone really understand what you do? Do all our members know that we do off-premise catering? You know, we can do all their house parties. You know, I'm going to do what I'm calling a Candyland open house tour with Brian, and we're going to invite them in to just take tours of and have them make their own cookies and stop at different food and beverage stations and promote holiday birthdays and anniversaries, because I don't think a lot of them, we're only having 10 people at the house, so we don't need any help. Again, call the professional. Absolutely. You know, it's really key.
Absolutely. I think that's awesome. So thank you so much for sharing. And since I have you here after 8 years, it took me to get her here. Since I have you here, you've been a director, you've led a successful chapter, over 40 members for 8 years. Tell everybody, if there's a director that's watching, let's start talking to the directors first. If there's a director watching, tell everybody, what is your biggest suggestion as a director for how to keep a chapter going 8 years strong?
I tell you, it's just engage with your members and just be excited and always come in with new ideas. It can be something as simple as today I gave away a bracelet and things like that. Do drawings, do different themes. We tie our meetings into charities also. You know how big we are with the foster care children. So, and we do a breast cancer walk in October. We do the school drive in August. We do the flip-flop drive for the abused women and children home. Try to tie it in so that you're tying in some community charity stuff too, because I'm really big on that. But just keep close with your members. I mean, we're really close. We're a close-knit group. But also encourage them to reach out to other WOAMTEC members nationwide if they're traveling or anything. You know, I always go over the WOAMTEC website. Is your information correct? D2, we pointed it out today. I think Dee's watching. You know, she tried to send some business to a member, but the information on the website wasn't correct. So just, you know, and I have a sign-in every time saying, check this out when you're signing in, just to make sure everything's, you know, proper. And making sure if you have members that join and they don't come, reach out to them, because, you know, like Tanya says and everyone says, you're just throwing money on the table. And then after they don't renew and they say, well, I never got anything out of it. That's like the worst thing to tell me. Absolutely. You know, the worst thing to say to Toni Curlin. And I will ask them, do they remember how many meetings they were at? And if you couldn't be there, did you send somebody else? because everyone needs to know you personally, or they're not going to do business with you.
Right.
That's just the way it is in this day.
Well, my next question was going to be, what would you recommend to members? So that's exactly it. If they don't know who you are, there's no way for them to like
Right.
and trust you. There's no way for them to want to be loyal with you. There's no way that you're going to build that relationship that's going to make them want to refer you. So there's the disconnect right there. You have to engage. WOAMTEC only works if you work it. Thank you, Toni Curlin, so
Thank
much
you,
for being
sweetheart.
here.
Thank
Love you
you.
with all my heart. And you
You
wanted
too.
to offer somebody
Yes.
something. If you're in Central,
Well, if you'll fly me out to California, I will provide you 2 hours of personal planning service for an event that you may have coming up. So if somebody's planning something and you need help, we can do it over the phone. I could send you vendors. Truly, I've got people really all over the United States, because we do have clubs everywhere. We have 8 clubs just with the company I work for. So, I mean, we're at Amelia Island, we're in Jacksonville, Tampa, North Carolina, so we have clubs everywhere too. So if anyone doesn't know, you can go to heathrowccevents.com.
Okay.
And we have 8 clubs, and literally planning stuff all over, but I do help people through ACCP, which is the Association of Club Catering Professionals. People reach out to me all the time because, again, I've been doing this 30 years, so I need ideas too, so I'm reaching out too. I mean, I love new ideas. Every day I like to try to think of something new.
Well, that's awesome. So if you are watching today and you've had an awesome event or been to an awesome event, reach out to Toni. You can find Toni Curlin on WOAMTEC's member directory, and you can also reach to her through the Heathrow website, which is also listed on the WOAMTEC directory, or online now with the fabulous Toni Curlin and Tanya Roller. They're both fantastic ladies. They're both awesome. So connect with them now and make sure that you share with them the amazing idea that you discovered from an event that you've been to recently. The holidays will be here before you know it. There aren't many shopping days left of this year. There's not many shopping days left of the season. So really take a look at what your goals are, what you're trying to accomplish, and reach out and buckle down and make things happen. Make it happen.